Hello, welcome to an Easter chocolate tasting. I'm Paddy. This is our super taster Amanda, as always. And what have we got today?
So today we've got Tony's Chocalonely extra special chocolate eggs.
The extra special.
They are indeed.
Oh dear. Right, and we're quite fans of Tony's, aren't we?
Yeah, so Tony's are meant to be one of the most ethical kinds of chocolate around. So they don't use any modern slavery, or any slavery in fact, in their cocoa production, and they kind of talk quite a lot about that within their wrapper. They always make a big deal about their bars or their advent calendars or their chocolates in this case being uneven. So in this box there's 12 chocolates, but there's 2 blue ones and there's 2 orange ones, because life isn't equal. And I'm really curious to know as to whether all of them you would get the 2 blues and the 2 oranges, or whether one you'd like a different box, you might end up with 2 pinks or 2 light greens, which are the best ones. So who knows?
Yeah, it does strike me as a little bit tenuous, kind of the sort of having 2 chocolates the same, sort of to kind of make us suffer the indignity of having to have the same chocolate once. Seems a little bit, but they did get into a bit of trouble once with their advent calendar, didn't they?
Yeah, they
there
did.
was an empty day which upset some people, and they kind of pointed out that sometimes you don't get any chocolates, which. Yeah, I don't know.
And this year they had an empty day, but they had a day with 2 chocolates in it, so it kind of evened out. But anyway, so yeah, their aim is to make sure there's no slavery within chocolate supply chains. We like them, and they also just make really nice chocolate, so that's the other reason we like them.
Quite interesting flavours and things, isn't it? Those sort of mixtures.
Yeah. So, should we make a start? So these are their 2023 eggs. It does have a tiny little guide on the side of the box as to which egg is which. So I thought we'd start off like usual with the lighter coloured eggs.
Oh, okay. And they tend to be the less cocoa-y chocolates.
Yeah, so the hope is that as we get darker and darker, we won't spoil our palates.
Somebody's trying to spoil the Easter tableau here, aren't they?
Okay, so we have an Easter cat. Okay, so this is the white one, and this is just a plain white Easter egg.
And we're not going to eat the whole box today, I guess.
No.
What's
it just smells like a white chocolate egg.
I can't actually smell
It's just got
anything
quite
at all.
a subtly white chocolatey smell.
Mm.
And it's got a sort of, I don't know, I'd call it a dinosaur skin, or a
sort
of like reptilian skin. So I'm just going to chop it in half, and I'm going to chop it in a quarter.
And that's just solid chocolate, isn't it?
This is just
not
solid chocolate. There's
hollow
nothing
or
in here.
filled or anything like that.
No.
That's a fairly hard chocolate, isn't it?
It is quite hard. It is quite cold in this room, so it's very sweet.
Yeah, is it? Wow, yeah, it's really quite hard chocolate.
Quite vanilla-y, but it is incredibly sweet. It's got that kind of hit your mouth at the back of the throat taste to it.
But the taste takes a while to come as well, doesn't it? Which I tend to feel is a sign of better chocolate. If you don't get a kind of instant sugary kind of sweetness.
Yeah, it's a nice white chocolate. So we now got a pink one in a pink wrapper.
Pink chocolates. What flavour is that going to be then?
And this says raspberry popping candy. I don't know whether this will be a white chocolate inside or whether it will be a milk chocolate, but it's a white chocolate.
I suspect I might not like this one very much. But I've never come across a popping candy egg.
And again, it's the same mould.
It's got some pink colouring by the looks of things.
It's got some pink bits in it, which I imagine is the white, the raspberry popping candy. And again, that one you can see really clearly it's been made in 2 halves, and it's like when it's been in the mould, the raspberry stuff is sunk down, so the middle is actually just pure white chocolate. Doesn't smell of a lot, but I'm just going to chop it in half.
I'm just going to have a little bit of that.
Have a little bit.
In fact, if you look at that piece, you can see it's quite full of pink stuff.
Do you want that bit?
Okay. Yeah.
So this tastes of white chocolate, and also
Is it popping yet?
that's not popped at all for me. Is it popped at all for you?
I think I had one very. Oh, no, I'm getting some pops. Yeah. Quite subtle popping, but there is some popping. But you kind of hear it rather than feeling it.
Oh yeah, a little bit of popping. Not a lot, just a bit. And I would say, for me, the raspberry's a bit synthetic. It's just that sort of freeze-dried raspberry, I suppose.
I think it might have some raspberry seeds in there, possibly. I'm getting some chewy bits which taste a bit raspberry. If that's
Oh yeah, there are some actual.
At the end.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of those things that putting real raspberry in doesn't taste as convincingly raspberry.
So it's got freeze-dried raspberry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either of us is a big fan of. Like, I like raspberry cream.
Uh-huh.
I'd want that with dark chocolate. With this, it just reminds me a bit of a cheesecake or something. It's just too sweet.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of sweet on sweet.
Uh-huh.
So I'll just work out which is the best one to have next. So those are the only two white ones, I think. So we could try the purple one, which is pretzel toffee.
Ooh.
So that's a really nice, dark, pretty purple.
Let's get muddled up with pretzels. That's a kind of biscuit, isn't it? Pretzel.
Yeah,
I
like
think.
a crunchy sort of biscuit.
And it's got the same dinosaur finish.
And that has a really nice chocolatey smell.
Oh, that's got quite a strong smell.
Yeah, and
of
again,
chocolate.
it's exactly the same finish as the other one. It's
Yeah.
quite shiny, this one, and harder to cut.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, you can see kind of shiny bits of toffee in there. It's almost like amber or something, kind of sparkling.
Yeah.
It's quite pretty.
There is a bit of hollow space in there, isn't there, where the two halves come together. Let's see what that's like. It's got salty bits, hasn't it? And definitely a kind of biscuitiness to it.
Yeah, it's definitely salty biscuity. It reminds me a bit of those Yorkie bars you could get once with biscuits in.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, the kind of biscuity ones, and you'd eat them on
Yeah.
kind of hike in the countryside or something.
But it's a sort of nicer. It's a nicer chocolate, really.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
So I'm going to skip over the blue one. The light blue is dark milk chocolate. The dark blue is dark chocolate. So we could skip over those two because they're likely to be darker. Yellow is milk chocolate, honey, nougat or nougat.
That sounds rather nice.
It sounds nice. That looks quite a light chocolate, I think. Yeah, it's lighter, I would say, than the previous one we just had in terms of chocolate. And it feels a bit softer.
Yeah, I imagine the honey might well do that. Or the nuts, or both.
And this one, you can see bits of almond in there. It doesn't smell as strong as the last one.
No, it doesn't, does it? Let's try it. I love that texture with the almonds. I haven't tasted anything yet, but the texture's just a good start.
They're not significantly sweeter than the previous one.
That's really nice. I really like honey chocolate.
And quite a sweet taste. I would say almost like the honey and the nougat overpower the chocolate.
Maybe they do, but I think the chocolate
Not in a bad way, they just do.
kind of carries it along in a good way. That gives me the kind of feeling like, I don't know, it's like about nice food, like kind of getting in a hot bath. It's just like really comforting, and you just feel kind of all warm and comfortable somehow eating that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've had bars of that one before.
Yeah.
I think that's one I've given you before as a bar.
Doesn't have the same cleansing effect as a bath, but yeah.
Not a bath, a bar.
Yeah, but
Oh, I see what you
I
mean.
said it's like having a warm bath.
Ah, yeah.
But
so this one is just milk chocolate. So that just tastes like nice milk chocolate, really. It's not too sweet, but it's reasonably sweet, and it's got a sort of nice, deep cocoa-y taste.
yeah, does it say what the percentages are on these kinds of things?
The highest ones are 51%, then 42, then 32, then 28.
Okay, so they're kind of fairly low.
Yeah, there's not anything with like a crazy, but there's nothing at all with a really high cocoa solid. I would say the dark ones are probably 51. The dark milk is probably 42, and maybe this was a 32 one.
Yeah, maybe. You think these are aimed at children rather than adults, or just anyone?
I think they're more adults, but
We got this whole kind of novelty egg box style of thing, haven't we?
I don't, or maybe teenagers or middle-aged children, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
not really little children. but
I'm a
like,
middle-aged child.
I meant like 10-year-olds,
Yeah.
or I wouldn't say they're not really for really little children, I don't think. Although the egg box is really sweet.
It's like a box of quail's eggs, isn't it? I think for the
Yeah.
connoisseur.
Milk chocolate caramel sea salt. So I think you can see bits in, but it may also be that we're just picking up bits of stuff that was on the
Yeah.
plate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very kind of crumbly chocolate almost, isn't it? Compared to the last one.
Tastes like a dime bar.
And it's got some really strong bits of salt in it.
Really strong bits of salt and really crunchy caramel. And I would say, if I was just eating that, I would think that was a dime bar egg. It really does taste like a dime bar. I like that one.
How's the salt for you? Is it too much, or I know you're a salt
I'd say
fan?
it's probably not quite enough salt for someone like that.
I think it's a little bit too salty for me. There's a lot of strong salt taste left over after
But
you
that one had a lot
toast
more
it.
salt.
Mm.
I think the salt's quite unevenly distributed. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can have a mouthful that's, very salty, or you can have one, like that second pie that I had a lot of salt, whereas the first bite I had no salt.
Yeah.
So maybe just having the salt a bit more evenly distributed would be good for that one. And the second one I had didn't have any caramel, it just had salt. So, yeah. So we're going to go for a dark milk one now, which is light blue.
Oh, okay. It's quite a taste journey, this, isn't it? It feels like we've gone through a lot.
Yeah, I'm
Lot
just
of
making
different
sure
things
that we've
and-
not missed any.
Still on the journey.
Oh no, we want milk chocolate hazelnut first, which is dark green.
Oh, okay.
So that has a really praliny, hazelnutty smell.
Oh, yeah.
So this, you can actually see absolutely huge chunks of hazelnut. Like, there's a lot of hazelnut in there. And they're really big chunks. And that just tastes like a really nice nut chocolate, basically. It's like the chocolate's nice and smooth, the nuts
Reminds me
just
of
about the right.
Ferrero Rocher a bit, which maybe isn't that's a really good nut chocolate, but it's
No,
nice.
but that, I think anyone would like that who likes nuts and chocolate. It's just a really nice
Yeah.
one, that one.
Yeah.
Hey, that's one we definitely want a bar of, I think.
Yeah.
So onwards to dark milk. This is I guess one that's sort of between a milk chocolate and a dark chocolate, really.
Do you think they mix the two to get that?
I don't know. I guess you just put in more cocoa.
But presumably some milk or less milk, I guess, more cocoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming it has milk in it. I'm just seeing, so it does have milk in it. I'm just seeing if the dark chocolate, doesn't have milk in it. So I guess that's the difference.
Mm-hmm. It's nice and shiny chocolate, isn't it? Whereas
Yeah.
that's a more crunchable chocolate that's got a nice strong flavour, hasn't it?
And I've noticed other brands are doing kind of ones with a higher like a dark milk, like some of the other fair trade brands have started doing that. And then this is just the dark 51%. That's a really nice shiny one.
Because that sort of dark milk one was pretty dark. That's got a really long taste.
Yeah,
really long
definitely.
lasting. I think more so than any of the others so far. That's definitely the crunchiest of them all. That's definitely a different taste as well.
That one's a lot darker.
And again, it takes a long time for the taste to come out of it.
And it's almost slightly astringent. I find it like dries my mouth out a bit. It's not got any milk in it, so I guess this one is kind of vegan.
It's more like a kind of adult's chocolate, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely a grown-up chocolate, that one. And then last but not the least, we have the dark chocolate with almonds and sea salt. And I've had this one in bar form and I really like this one.
Okay.
So again, it's a nice shiny dark chocolate. It's probably going to be quite hard to cut because it's... I don't know if you want half of a bin of these or a whole bit of one of these.
I think half of it of one. Yeah. There's some bits of almond, but not as many as there were hazelnuts in the hazelnut one. I think that's a different chocolate than the dark one we just tried, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it tastes sweeter, but that may just be that it's got more.
Just the other flavours, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, looking at it, it looks very similar in terms of colour.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it may be that it's got the almonds and the salt, and I don't know if there's a little bit of caramel in there as well, maybe. That's kind of giving it a sweeter taste. Dark chocolate, almond, sea salt, and that one again is vegan. So that is all of them. So which was your favourite?
The honey one was one of them.
The nougat honey one.
Yeah, and the hazelnut one, I think, probably my favourites. How about you?
Yeah, I like those two. I also like this dark almond one as well a lot. I've got them kind of muddled up now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I think this was about £4 or £5. This I've seen it at different prices in different shops. So,
And that's 12 eggs.
yeah, and I think it weighs 150 grams. So obviously, you can buy 150 grams of chocolate for a lot less than that. But I think as a nice gift,
Yeah.
it's quite a nice one, or just a nice treat for yourself. You can also buy them in bags, which like the same chocolates, but I think you get 20, which works out cheaper, and those could be really nice for an Easter egg hunt or something.
Yeah. And you can recycle all the packaging there, can't you?
Yeah, so Tony's are really good at, which is another reason I like them, is it's really good for recycling. You're not getting like a great big egg with loads of plastic and stuff that you have to chuck in the bin, so it feels quite ethical in that way as well. That's just quite nice because you could put it in your bag in a picnic or put it in the glove compartment.
Put it in somebody else's bag as a nice surprise.
Yeah, so it feels like a good one to have. I would recommend.
Thanks for watching, and I'm sure we'll be back with some more chocolates before too long. Cheers.